Hey, this is Anders from the band Sorcerer. You're listening to Brutally Delicious Podcast. Rock on!
Brutally Delicious!
All right, hey, thanks for joining us here on the Brutally Delicious Podcast, the inaugural episode. I'm Bruce Moore, and got my partner Kris here with me. Kris, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Kris. I love metal.
Tell us about your story, Kris, because you're not just a regular metalhead. You've kind of got a little bit of a story. I'm
a new metalhead, kind of. I ended up going on a cruise in 2011 called 70,000 Tons of Metal. I wasn't a metalhead. I just ended up on the cruise randomly, and I had the time of my life, and I haven't stopped listening to metal since. It's been amazing. I've been on 5 more of those cruises, lots of metal festivals. I've had the opportunity to interview some really good bands. Probably my peak interview that I've ever done was with Joe from Gojira. That was amazing. And I'm just in this to learn about metal.
You've like embraced it like a kid in the candy store, though. I mean, you're like head over heels with this stuff.
Oh, I know. Everyone I talk to. When I first moved to this new area, I saw this guy and he was wearing a Gojira shirt, and I was like, dude, metal! And next thing I know, we were like best friends. And I think that's more of what I like about metal, is that not only is the music just amazing and powerful and emotional, but it's like a family. Once you get inside of it, everyone is like a family, and that's really what drew me to it.
Well, I think you're 100% right, because I've been on a couple of those cruises as well, and I've been around the block and done some things, but anywhere you go, it's like a long lost friend, even if you've met for the first time, and people inviting you to stay at their houses if you want to come to festivals. I've met people day one, and are like, hey, if you get to Wacken or Wacken or whatever you want to call it, you could stay by me. And I don't know these guys from Adam, but somehow that riff links everybody together.
It does. I mean, I met you in 2011 the same way.
Right.
Just randomly on a boat. I was there by myself. I don't know who you were there with.
I was actually there as a guest of Rory, but ended up, I was by myself because he was working. I was just kind of there. Yeah,
I was there, and I met you there, and I think you were there in 2016 as well, right?
16 and 17, yeah.
Yeah. Man, those were good times.
Lots of good bands, and again, lots of people, and it becomes a reunion after a while. I mean, so those same guys that you met for the first time in, on the first cruise from wherever, I think it's like 78 nations or some crap. You end up, reuniting with them and throwing back beers on the pool deck with them.
I'm sure it's the same if you go to Wacken or any other metal festival. It becomes like a family reunion of sorts.
Very cool, I think.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this year I was on 70,000 Tons of Metal again by myself, and I was only alone when I was checking my ticket at the gate.
Right.
After that, I knew everybody.
That's an amazing thing. So as you're new to this couple years, I mean, I've got probably 40 years on you, but if you're new to this, what are you listening to these days? I know you're going to say Gojira, so let me just say something right ahead of time. I'm a metalhead and I can appreciate Gojira, but I don't understand the super popularity of them, because in my book, while they're good and I enjoy them, I'm not freaking over them like everybody else is. So how do you, let's start there.
Well, the first time I heard them was before I went before I became a metalhead. I heard them because I was trying to prep myself to become a metalhead for this cruise, and I heard it, and something about it it wasn't so over the top aggressive that it turned me off at first, but it was also, it had a message to it, I guess, that kind of resonated with me. And the more I got into metal, the more I kind of realized what they were doing was a little bit different than what a lot of other people were doing. That's what really turned me on to them, honestly. And, I mean, the way they play the guitar, I mean, my God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not taking anything from them. I get it. But somehow they've become like the metal elite, and I just think I'm missing something, and I don't know.
For me, it's the drummer. It's definitely the drummer.
Gotcha.
If you listen to La Font Sauvage and you listen to that drum beat, it's insane how that can even be played.
Looks like we've got Anders Engberg calling from Sorcerer. If you want to get,
oh, cool.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get to it and take it from there.
All right.
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Terrific.
All right, so I won't keep you too long. We can just jump in. I know you guys are working on some new material. Why don't we start there?
Yeah, we are working right now to finalize some new material for the third album. We have it when we're going to be done in the mid of May here. We will have like 15, 16 songs, almost 2 hours of music to choose from. And the process this time is we usually write the lyrics when me and my friend and co-producer Connie, when we write the music, we usually write the lyrics. But this time we only did like phony lyrics, a lot of rainbows in the dark and stuff like that. Just bullshit lyrics. And because we're going to decide on the songs first to get the right dynamics through the album. We want it to be a little bit varied. And it's also going to be a conceptual album. Not in the sense that, there was once upon a time and then it goes right through the album like a story. No, not like that. The songs are going to be, going to be able to stand on their own, but it's going to be, about a certain subject.
Okay.
So, the songs are going to be like satellite, happenings around this centerpiece that I won't disclose right now, but yeah.
Okay.
That is a very cool idea.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like a conceptual thing like that, where there's a character or something. It's going to be like moments from this period.
Okay. So I've got a couple for you, and then we'll let Kris jump in. When you guys are writing, are you writing in the traditional sense, like everybody in the room banging things off each other, or are you taking advantage of technology and emailing riffs?
Well, does anyone do that anymore? I don't know. I mean, today we have the technology. I got a studio not far from where I live, a vocal studio with a computer and stuff. And my friend, co-producer, he has a studio at his home. The guys, all the guitar players, the bass players, everybody's got their own home studio. So we actually write the demos. We write on Dropbox.
Right.
So they're shooting up ideas. The music come first. Of course, I've never considered myself a poet or any. I don't think the lyrics are important. I don't know if you guys are into the lyrics that much, but I mean, sometimes when you write a lyric, you really hit the spot. But 99% of the time, it's just like, some words that sound cool to the music. Yeah. I'm all into that Dio stuff. It doesn't have to, be that profound. But, I've sometimes written a lyric in 10 minutes that someone later came up to me and said, this lyric changed my life. And it's like, well, I wrote it in my room at my mom's,
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, that's we write the music on internet, so to speak, and then when we've decided which songs we're going to use, we have meetings and stuff, of course, but when we decide on which songs we're going to use, we're going to go down to the rehearsal room and figure some stuff out, because drum machines and stuff like that, it's never the same. Right. So we're going to give the drummer a chance to do his stuff on the song. So that's the plan.
So just sticking with that for 1 second, do you feel that some of the spontaneity and the organic vibe is taken away when you're doing that stuff? Because, I mean, in the old days, you bounce things off and it kind of evolves as you go. Does that make sense? Yeah,
I know. The thing is that, I'm 50 now, and the guys that I play with are really, really good players, and we don't feel that we have to, grind that much, about the songs. And also, I feel that when the both albums we've done before, they were really disclosed, as you can say, when they were mixed. Right. Fuck, was it this? It's like just get a good feel, you know. It's interesting. You haven't heard the real solos, just some, you know, stuff, and they have only heard my vocal sketches, you know. And then I put the choirs on, and you know, a lot of effects, and you know, so it really, instead of, you know, grinding the songs over and over again up until the recording, we actually, it's fresh for us. So when we go into the studio and rehearsal room and rehearse the songs that we're going to play live, it's, you know, it's new and fun and not, you know, dated.
Okay.
So there's like two sides of the story. And I mean, the most important thing for me when I was younger, when we used to rehearse 3-4 times a week, that was to, you know, build a voice and, you know, trying to make it sound good. But I mean, now these guys, I mean, they play like they're rock stars, man.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're awesome. So I mean, there's no need to, you know, we play good when we play together.
Kris, what do you got?
Well, one thing I want to know is, are you finishing the recordings yourself? Are you taking them to another engineer to record? Are you just taking your demos and advancing them forward to kind of the final production? How are you doing that?
No, we do it the old-fashioned way. Actually, we do the demos with drum machine, and some of the songs that we've decided that, oh, this one is 100%, it's perfect. It's not even finished. You know, some of the parts aren't written, and we like to keep it that way because, as I told you, when we decided upon the songs, we're going to correct all those little things, you know, and put it all together. So when Ricky goes in and puts the drums in the studio, he knows exactly what to do and his own thing, you know, not like playing after a drum machine, you know. That's right. So that's the plan. We haven't actually been able to do that for the last album. We had a session drummer who heard the songs a week before he did the drums, you know. Lars Sköld from Avatarium did the drums. So that was an experience that we don't want to do again. So we actually he is going to play to the demo track guitars. And we're going to correct them so it fits with the arrangement that we do when we choose the songs. And then we're going to build it up again, you know, but new guitars, new bass, new everything. So it's going to be redone as, you know, for real.
Okay.
That's actually my favorite way to track drums, is giving the drummer like a finished track.
Yeah.
You know, in the old days, you used to give a drummer, you know, a click track, and you jam with them live, and they never were able to get that same energy that they can if they play to something that sounds a little bit more complete.
I've done both. You know, in the early days with my band Lionshare, we recorded, you know, the whole album in studios, and I mean, there's a charm to that too, of course. But what I like about today's recording is that you often, you know, when you're in control today in a different way than before. You know, the first album we recorded cost like $25,000 to record, and today we're not even close, you know, in getting those advances. You know, we can't afford go into a studio and do the whole production in the studio. So, and I don't feel that we have to either, and because the most important thing are the drums, of course. That's difficult to do at your home if you don't have your own built studio, and we don't have that. So we're going to do them in Solna recording. It's Simon Johansson from Wolf, also a guitar player now with Soilwork. He's built a really nice new studio where we're going to do this. And Ronny Björnström, the guy that's mixed the two latest albums, is going to come down and, you know, tweak the sound. So, and then Mike Weed, actually, he's going to record us from King Diamond. He's gonna, he's a friend of Simon, so they work in the studio together. So that's the way we're gonna do it. Then guitars and bass are gonna go home to the guys at their own studios, and my vocals are being recorded in my vocal studio. So that's the plan.
Are you going to self-produce your vocals?
No, Connie, the co-producer, is a really fantastic guy. He's got a really good ear and we've been working together for 25 years now, so we know each other, so well, and it works out so good every time. So he's gonna sit there with a whip and make me do the things that I'm good at. So yeah, I'm not really that nervous, or I'm more anxious to get things going, But it's going to be great, I think.
We're kind of in an interesting time creatively for musicians, because software allows you, like you were saying earlier, to do stuff that you couldn't possibly do before the advent of the DAW or drum software, or even like Kemper profilers or any of that kind of stuff. How do you balance the idea that creatively you're more free than you ever are, but there's not as much money in terms of selling that music as there was before?
Yeah, but it's a crazy business today, I think, in that sense. Anyone can make an album, by no means at all. If you have a computer, you can make an album. Almost. For us, it's important. If we're going to talk sound-wise, it's important for us to have a sound that sounds, not maybe as the really old recordings, but alive and analog. We need that. We had it on the in the Shadow on the Verted Cross. We had a bigger drum sound and a little bit lower guitars, and we made that by choice because we wanted to flirt with the old sounding records, Mob Rules or whatever, those big drum sounding albums. But on the latest one, we had a little bit more compressed sound and more modern, perhaps. And this time, I think we're going to work on the same kind of modern sound, but we're going to. I think the album will be more diverse in tempo and stuff like that. So that we've been working on that to get a dynamic flow through the album. So I don't remember the question now. I just babble on.
All right, I have one more, and it's not really related to music, but in today's day and age, it really is. So,
okay.
I noticed from your bio that you had Ola Englund in your band.
Yeah.
For a while, and he's pretty much known, like in the software circles, as probably the most influential social media marketer there is.
Yeah.
So, how do you intend to kind of embrace social media and use it to get your band like more known? Do you contact Ola to ask him advice? Are you working on it on your own? Do you have someone dedicated only to that?
I'm here now.
Yeah.
No, we try to work on that. I mean, it's difficult. We're a pretty small band, we're maybe upcoming, we're getting up on the roosters a little bit now, and we're getting some international notice, America going there in September, play Prague Power, it's going to be great. It's important, and we got our own management now, and he's really working on trying to find ways to reach out there, really. And we in the band, I handle the Instagram account and the Facebook. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but to get the opportunity to do stuff like I did with you and with the food show and whatever, it's. I'm all in for that. I mean, because you need to. If you're not there, if you're not visible, you don't exist somehow. I mean, it's you got to hang on there and really go for that. I think it's a bit. We were touching, about the how the money and the recording procedure has changed, from the past. I forgot to comment about that, and I think that, today maybe if you get a good deal, you get like $10,000, in advance. That is a really good deal. And for us, I mean, we have Metal Blade. No bad feelings about them or anything. I mean, we need to show them that we can sell albums, of course. But it's like it's not even close what we had in the 90s. So you're almost forced to do more stuff yourself. And I think also like cover artists and those kind of people, they have to lower their goals also, because the bands don't have money to pay silly amounts of money for an artwork. It's I think that's a little bit sad. The good thing is though that it forces the band to go out and play, and that's the way we make money to videos, backdrops, whatever, because that's the only way to make any money today in this industry.
I've got a couple that are not necessarily music related, but kind of give fans an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, just a little fun stuff, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were stranded on a deserted island and could take 3 records, assuming you had a solar-powered disc player or whatever, what would they be?
Oh my God, this question always comes up, And then also, when you discuss with your friends and the guys in the band, which ones are the best top 10 albums, For me, it's like maybe top 50 albums. I have a hard time choosing, But if I had to choose, I would bring, doesn't matter which one, but one of the albums with Dave Lee Roth and Van Halen. I love them all. That would be one. Also, I think one of my all-time favorites are Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, what a record.
Yeah.
The snare sound of that record just blows my mind.
Yeah. And the third, if not choosing one of your own, I would go for Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus, I think, because that's so groundbreaking and genre, it's the pinnacle of the genre somehow. That we connected to, even though we are more like ordinary heavy hard rock than Doom in the traditional sense, I feel anyway. I don't see ourselves like a doom metal band like Below that are very true to the original, Candlemass sounding doom. We're more for everyone, I think.
Right.
It's heavy, but I mean it's very melodic and yeah.
Okay.
We have our own thing, I think.
So I'm also a big fan of, I don't know if you get it over there, an interviewer called James Lipton he does Behind the Active Studio. And at the end of every interview, he asks the interviewee 10 quick questions. So
okay.
I'm just going to run by them. They're pretty much, you can probably give one word answers. They're pretty quick and they're pretty easy, all right? What is your favorite word?
Badass. I don't know. It is. I don't know. It's a Swedish word, probably not in English. So.
Well, hit us in Swedish. Go with it.
I don't know.
All right, good enough.
It was a difficult question, man. I'm tilted.
How about, what is your least favorite word?
Bög. It's gay. Like.
Okay.
I don't like that.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Good acting. I'm a really cineast. I love movies and series, so that can bring me to tears and bring me to laughter, and yeah.
What turns you off?
People with no self awareness. That's the worst thing I know.
All right, I'm probably know the answer to this one already, but what is your favorite curse word?
I mean, it's got to be fuck off or fuck you or whatever.
I think that's universal. What sound or noise do you love?
I like the sound of metal.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Those grinders or some kind of, that kind of industrial sound, I think.
Okay, just 3 more if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you have liked to attempt?
I would like to do this for, full time, of course, but I'm a pretty good carpenter actually. So I would love to have worked more with my hands. Now I sit at a computer, talking in the phone all day. But yeah, I've done it before, and I've done a lot of carpentry. So yeah, that would be fun if you could live on it.
Okay. What profession would you not like to do?
I wouldn't like to work like a garbage man or a cleaner, like there's people coming in the office, emptying all the garbage and stuff like that. That's not something I would like to do.
Yeah, I'd have to go with plumber there. That's definitely not my plumber. I'm out.
Oh yeah,
no way.
Yeah, that's some plumber friends actually. They've been through hell.
They make good money though. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, there's really a lot of demand of plumbers also. So
might say a shitload of demand. A shitload of demand.
Yeah.
All right, last one for you. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Party on!
I'm kind of new to metal, so
Yeah.
I'm just learning about all of the depths of metal that there are.
Okay.
So, I kind of started out on the top. You know, some of my first experience was like Epica, seeing them live.
Newer stuff, yeah.
Was mind-numbing. And Death Angel.
Okay.
So I appreciate you kind of enlightening us.
Oh, I mean, I've been living with this, and I started singing when I was 16 years old. I'm 50 now, so I've been living music, and it's part of my life, and I love to talk about it. And people are interested like you. It makes me, warm inside. I mean, it's really, I just love it.
So I lied. Can I bother you one more question?
Yeah.
I know Kris is laughing at me, and I'm sorry to keep it going, but
just one more.
Okay,
just one more. I promise. You can hit the delete button after this one, and we don't have to do any more. So I think Kris is new to the metal scene, but I grew up in it, and there was a defining moment for me. Like, I didn't know much about it. I was listening to my parents' records or whatever. And one day I walked into a record store, local place, and I found Diary of a Madman sitting on the.
Okay.
I picked it up and took it home, and from the fucking moment I put it on, I became like this crazy metalhead, couldn't get enough of it. Was there a defining moment for you or a record?
Yeah. There was a big television show in Sweden sent from Germany in the early 80s with bands like Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne, Def Leppard, Crocus, all these nice older 80s bands. And that kicked me, in the butt some. But I weren't really. I was more like a top 10 listener. I listened to all the mainstream music, and I wasn't really into metal that way. But then afterwards, just a couple of days or something afterwards, I listened to the record that really turned me on into hard rock, and that was Restless and Wild with Accept.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that is still an awesome album. Sounds brutal. I mean, it's so good. So that was the one thing. When I heard that album, it's like, fuck, And I got into the business in high school. A friend of mine, we have talked, about all kinds of stuff. And I told him in my younger years, I like to, be on stage, at school things, you play plays, and I like to be in the center of attention. So, and I did some school choirs, and then he had some friends that had a band in a suburb out of Stockholm, and hey, you sing, you can sing metal. And I was like, no, I can't sing. Yeah, but you can go down and try, and I did, and that was it. That was how I started. So I was totally hooked, with the loud noise and the drums and, being a part of that and being able to be in the front, I wouldn't change or change it out for anything,
All
right. There's a less stuff to carry also.
Right, a microphone.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty loyal. I help the other guys too, but yeah.
As promised, that's all I've got.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What a nice guy.
Super guy.
Yeah, like just down to earth and just like trying to get his band out there. It's great.
So now that we found out what his 3 Desert Island records were, what would yours be?
My 3 Desert Island records? Oh man, that is a tough one. I would have to say Shout at the Devil, Motley Crue, for sure. I can't go without that record. That was a life-defining moment for me. I mean, I don't really consider that record metal, per se. I consider it more hard rock, but it was kind of metal at the time. I would have to say In the Flesh, or In the Way of All Flesh, Gojira, and Justice for All, Metallica.
If I was going to guess, I mean, if I was going to put together a thing, it would definitely be, as we mentioned already, Diary of a Madman would have to be, I mean, his tone, everything about that fucking record is just off the chain. And even to this day, like whatever it is, 40 years later, it holds up like it did back then. It's crazy good.
I agree.
I'm going to be with Anders here on a Queensryche album, but I like their first full record, The Warning, is so freaking good.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I only heard Operation Mindcrime and Forward. I never went back and listened.
Yeah, so they had an EP out. I forgot what it was called, but they had a Queen of the Reich, I think it was called. They had an EP out, which was good, but I really, really loved The Warning. And then I might have to pick like a doom metal band like The Skull. I really like not The Skull, Trouble. The Skull was the record. Really, really good, heavy, doomy stuff out of Chicago.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
And they were on the first boat that we were on.
They were with the singer from Warrior Soul.
Yeah, because Eric Wagner had left by then, but the original, he's gone on now to do stuff with, he's actually The Skull, and he's got a couple other things. They're still playing the same doomy stuff, and actually they're still playing Trouble stuff, but apparently they don't get along so well, but he's doing his own thing. But yeah, that whole doomy thing is really cool.
I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, I thought Anders was a great guy, and great interview.
What a nice guy to come on and spare some time. I know he's busy, so.
And anybody out there listening, I encourage you to go check out the band. It's some really good epic doom stuff. You'll dig it.
Yeah. You know, because I'm kind of new to metal, I just Googled it, and the Sorcerer, Sirens came up. Mm-hmm. And the mix on that track is just unbelievable, and the voice is so clean and pure. It was like I wasn't expecting him to be the singer. You know, he doesn't look like his voice.
Right. Definitely, I think you're 100% right. That when you talk to him and then you put him listening to that record, it's definitely kind of crazy.
Yeah,
but
it's amazing.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so I guess if you're listening to this, thank you for taking the time to do it. Check back with us. You got anything else?
Thanks for listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Right on.
Hello out there.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.